Hey everyone, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the Shadow Work Tarot reading for the sign of Scorpio. Please keep in mind, this is a general reading. It won't apply to everyone's circumstances, and it's also timeless. So this can apply perhaps from your recent past circumstances that are playing out in your current present time, but also things that may occur in the future, okay? So do keep that in mind. I do believe that this reading will be brought to your awareness when the timing is right, okay? When it's necessary for you to get these insights. So with regards to the spread, I'll be using the Dark Mirror Oracle deck, the Angelarian deck, the Moonology deck, and then getting some tarot messages using the Wild Unknown Tarot. So let's see what's coming up for you in your shadow aspect that's being brought to the surface, Scorpio. Just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who's been liking, commenting, subscribing. It means the world to me to have your support, so thank you so much, and also for sharing my videos. All of your engagement really helps me as a new channel, new YouTuber, to be able to reach a larger audience and assist those who are also in need of these messages. So please continue to engage. It means so much to me, and it helps me be able to help more people. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you're informed of when your next reading goes live on the channel. Okay, so if you also want a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. If you would like to join my Patreon, the Inner Sanctum, there you'll have access to exclusive tarot readings that you won't find anywhere else. You'll also have access to free extended tarot readings for the monthly readings, as well as spiritual guidance videos and more, so check that out. Okay, so the card you got from the Dark Mirror deck, Scorpio, was Bride in the Cage, or Bride in a Cage rather. So I feel like you've set very high expectations for yourself, right? Because you know what it is that you want. You have a very, very strong vision of how you want your future to look. And that's not a bad thing, but then if we get too caught up in certain details, if everything has to be concise and pristine and picture perfect, then we can lose sight of what truly matters within that, right? And the vision loses its value, right? Because it becomes about how it's perceived and how it's displayed, rather than its true value, its true meaning, the heart of the situation, okay? So I feel like it's important that you really take a look at that. It could be that you are placing too much value on something that's superficial, and that you feel unless you meet a certain criteria in your life when it comes to your looks, when it comes to your material assets, when it comes to your career status, when it comes to your relationships, your friendships, your work environment, the circles you operate in terms of work, all of that stuff, unless it's, of the highest caliber in all aspects, then, it's not good enough. So you have to watch that a little bit. I don't feel like, you yourself are shallow, far from it. I just think you have very, very high expectations, but within that, you're starting to lose sight a little bit of what truly matters, the true heart of these things, the emotive connection, the kindness, the love, the compassion, the empathy, those aspects, right? Because you may be in a position where you want to achieve a certain outcome, that's obvious, but also you feel a pressure to do that from outside sources perhaps. So we'll see if that comes up as we continue your reading. So let's go to the Angelarian deck and see what other energies are presenting themselves that can help you navigate through this, and what signs and synchronicities may appear to provide further insight or guide your attention to that, right? Okay, so you got Guevara, left hand, Judgment. So this would essentially be like your judgment card in the tarot, right? So this is about, depending on what you put your place, your energy, your focus, your value on, that's going to lead to a very specific set of outcomes, right? So that's why I was saying you have to be very mindful, because you're walking a very fine line between, you know, wanting to excel and achieve and wanting to grow, and getting lost in this shallow, fickle, you know, surface level perspective of success, right? So you're navigating that very fine line, and it could be because of the work that you're involved in. It can be very much like that, especially the environment. I feel like your environment, or, you know, the industry that you work in plays a heavy role in that. So you could be in the public eye, you could be behind the scenes, right? So say, for example, you're a fashion designer, or you could be the model or a photographer, or, you know, in various different aspects. So you could be in front and center, or you could be more in the background, like, you know, doing stage production, or being an actress or an actor, you know, things like that. But I feel like there's a lot of pressure because it's attached to the very environment that you operate in, right? And I feel like you're having to look at that very closely, because if you go too far in this direction, like I said, you're going to get very specific outcomes where you may lose some very important connections, or you may lose something else that's very valuable. I feel like you may even lose the respect of those that you hold near and dear, because they see you taking that path, because of the environment you're in, because of the circles you associate with, right? And that you become more and more like your environment, and less like your true self, right? So that you have to be very mindful of that. I mean, this is quite specific, so it may not apply to everybody, but I feel like those who have, you know, a flourishing career, or that are very set on a specific career that involves the arts, or involves, you know, some kind of celebrity or influence, or you know, prestige, you know, it could be that you're in the sciences even, right? And, you know, you're doing something that's very prestigious, you're going to a very prestigious institution or something, like, you know what I mean? Anything like that, where there's like the potential for fame or fortune or recognition, right? So I feel like that's for who this applies to. Even if you're not in that space yet, you're navigating that path towards that, right? So yeah, let's take a look then and see what are the signs for Guevara to help you, so you can see where there may be some signs and synchronicities and direct communications from the universe to help you with, you know, working through this. So this is found in law, bravery, and punishment, right? So this is what I'm talking about, right? It's found in law, bravery, and punishment. So you may even find yourself in a situation where you're having to make a moral decision, or a lawful or unlawful decision, or something that's going to test your principles to see which direction you'll take. You'll get to the fork in the road, kind of like crossroads energy as well, hanged man energy, where you'll reach the fork in the road and you have to make a choice. Depending on the choice you make, it's going to have very real consequences. So just be aware of that. Okay. So let's go over to the Moonology deck and see what's coming up there. They can give you some guidance through this as well, and some support. Ooh, I like this. So you got full moon, surrender to the divine. How relevant, considering we just had a full moon in Pisces. So it's really asking you to go take some time out of this, reflect, go into your emotional and spiritual body, or bodies, should I say. So tapping into how you truly feel. Take some time out meditate, channel, go into your soul connection with the divine, and ask for assistance, not surrender. Ask for assistance, ask for support, guidance, right? Ask for clarity, ask for them to show you what life would be like if you take one path or the other, right? Surrender to the divine, right? Surrender to the knowledge of the divine. Surrender to the support of the divine. Surrender to the signs and synchronicities and messages that the divine are trying to relay to you at this time. So it's being open. In this case, it's more about being open to that guidance that's coming in for you. It's trying to assist you and help you so that you don't take a wrong turn that can lead to irreparable consequences, right? So I feel like there is something significant and challenging coming up for you that's going to really test your morality and also your principles. Do you still hold true to your principles, or are you willing to let them go? You've had a reading like this in the past, Scorpio. So I feel like this is something that keeps coming up as a test. Perhaps, you were avoiding certain things to try and avoid having to confront this energy, but now it's coming up, front and center, that you need to now face this decision. There's a very important decision coming up for you, and the time is now. Okay, so let's go over to the tarot then and see what other insights we can get for you to help you with this. Because ultimately, the idea behind this reading isn't to make you worry or to make you feel like that you're a bad person or anything like that. Far from it, Scorpio. It's to show you the goodness within you. It's to show you that you do have morals, you do have principles. There are things you truly value that have a lot of value to you that's more than just the material or status or, anything to do with the ego on that level. So that's why this message is coming through for you very strongly and asking you to look at that again. You see justice here. Because ultimately you like to do things properly and fairly, and so that's why you're getting this assistance, because the divine are trying to support you and show you, listen, this is coming up for you, so you need to really consider what it is you want to do before you take action or make a choice, because one of those choices is not going to be in alignment with your principles. That's what I'm feeling. So, but ultimately the decision will always be yours. No one else can make that for you. All we can do is guide you, right? And give you some insight and support, but ultimately it's the choice you have to make. And I feel like karma is involved here. There's going to be a karmic consequence depending on what you choose. So it's important to be aware of that. Okay, so Scorpio, the first card you have here is the Empress in reverse, okay? So I associate that with Taurus as well as Cancer and Virgo, and Libra actually. I associate it with all those signs. So you could be dealing with one of those signs or have those prominently in your chart. So I'll say that again, Taurus, Virgo, Cancer, right? Also Libra, I always forget Libra. So especially, I saw the Justice card as well. So I feel like Libra energy is very strong here with Judgment also. But I feel like with the Empress in reverse, it's a case of saying that, you've made tremendous strides. You are almost in the Empress energy. And I feel like what makes you feel like you're not quite there yet, that you're not this highly abundant, being, you being in your true divine feminine aspect in all ways, is because you think you need to obtain more in the physical world to reach it. But what you don't realize is that it's not through your physicalities that you would reach the Empress stage, because I feel like you have all your needs met when it comes to the physical, more or less. And even if you don't, that's coming in for you. It's more about your spiritual standing, your emotive standing. It's about the pure love energy. Are you in the same frequency as that? That's what you need to look at, because I feel like your heart space has taken a bit of a hit lately because of the physical aspects of your lifestyle, right? The physicalities, the surface level connections, or pressures that come, social pressures that come with the environment you're navigating. So the next card you have is the Father of Cups, King of Cups, water energy, your energy, along with Cancer and Pisces, okay? So I feel like emotionally, you're grounded, your emotions are not running high at all, which is good. But I feel like you run the risk of detaching from your emotional body at this point. That's the problem. I feel like you run the risk of going too far the other way. It's like generally I think you are, able to kind of navigate the murky waters when it comes to your deep emotions. But at this point, you run the risk of being emotionally unavailable, is what I'm getting, because of, again, I feel like your environment is a huge part of this, and the social circles as well. So really take a good look at that, and the people you're interacting with on a frequent basis, are they emotionally unavailable? Because maybe that's what's triggering that kind of response in you, right? Okay, so next card you have is the Sun card in reverse. So Leo energy, you could be dealing with the Leo here, or have Leo prominently in your chart. I feel like this is saying that, yeah, there's a lot of positivity in your life. There's a lot of things going very well for you. Things are shifting and changing in your favor. However, depending on how you approach your life moving forward, depending on the steps you take, the circles you operate in, the way you conduct yourself, the things you hold in high regard, what you give value to in your life, it can be okay or it can be amazing. That's the thing. So I feel like even if you make a morally ambiguous decision, I don't feel like it's going to be the end of the world. I don't feel like it's anything that's going to cause something catastrophic to happen, although there can be, some legal consequences or whatever, or, such as fines or, probation and, things like that. I don't know the circumstances, but, or, you might lose a connection or something like that. I don't feel like it's something that's going to end your, be like your world is come crashing down. But it's the difference between things kind of not going so great and then being okay in the end, and, you still doing your thing, or things being awesome, and having great connections, really loving your life. So that's something to consider as well. And next card you have is Seven of Cups in reverse, so water energy. Your energy along with Cancer and Pisces, right? So you know what it is that you want, you know what you're passionate about, you know what means the most to you, you know what you feel is in alignment for you, right, when it comes to your happiness. But I feel like the thing that you want, there is a shadow aspect to it, right? And you're not necessarily seeing that, right? You're only seeing the positives and the light airiness of it, the happiness, the light-hearted aspect of this endeavor, whatever it is, right? But you're not seeing the shadow aspect of it, and that's the bit that I find is the danger here, the red flag. It's like, okay, it's great that you know what you want and you're going after it and you feel really good about it, but have you looked at the pitfalls? Have you looked at, the obstacles? Have you looked at the disadvantages, right? Because there are some things that are still hidden to you at this time that are very important to be aware of. Because if you're not aware of these pitfalls or aware of these potentially very ambiguous, right, circles or scenarios or companies or whatever it is, right, then it can really bite you at some point. So it's important to be aware of what it is that you're bargaining for, essentially, so you don't bite off more than you can chew. And then finally, as a potential outcome here, you have the devil in reverse. So Capricorn energy. Yeah, so you could be dealing with a Capricorn. So I think the things you see as, okay, this is what I'm getting. There are things that you're seeing as setbacks or seeing as, you know, what you want, what's not good for you, what doesn't matter, what's not important. Those things that you're kind of just dismissing, I feel like you actually care a great deal for, but you're kind of sacrificing that in order to obtain something else. And I feel like what you're trying to obtain is part of this vision, this dream that you have, but it's not grounded in any reality. It's illusionary, and it's also not what it seems, right? There's some, not the dream as a general concept is illusionary. I mean, it's valid, you can go after it, but it's just the way in which you may be trying to approach it through, you know, the channels, the individuals, the organizations or companies, you know, things of that nature, is what's questionable here, right? Because there's a lot of toxicity attached to it, and I feel like it will give you this full sense of freedom when actually it is quite the opposite. I get a real sense of that. Do you feel like you're gaining your freedom and your ability to do whatever you want by pursuing this path that's being offered to you? But it is quite the opposite. It's like, I'll give you an example. You know how, you know, a lot of people have been talking over the years about K-pop and how popular it is and how great it would be to be in a K-pop band, right? The downside of it is people don't realize the types of contracts that these people are tied into, right? The people that choose to be in a K-pop band, right? So dancers, singers, actors and actresses, you know, people of the creative arts, very talented, right? Who do the vigorous training, they dedicate their entire lives essentially to becoming a K-pop idol, which is fine if you're that passionate about it, I get it for sure. But people don't see the darker aspects of those contracts. They call them like the slave contracts, you know, because it is literally that. Your whole life gets turned upside down. You're not allowed to see friends anymore. You're not allowed to see partners anymore. You have to break up with your partners. You're not allowed to be around your family so much anymore. You have to stay in set locations. You have to wake up at a certain time, sleep at a certain time. You have a very fixed schedule. They're very close to manage who you communicate with. So you won't have a phone that's not bugged or tapped. And, you know, it may sound like some kind of conspiracy theory, but it's not at all. It's known facts. You can go online and, you know, even if you go on Asian Boss, you know, YouTube channel, they've even done an episode on this, right? This information is out there, that the contracts are highly restrictive. Of course, they're not forced into it, they agree to it. But a lot of the time, people don't realize just how, just how restrictive it really is. You know, to the point where a lot of people, you know, because you pay a lot of money to do it as well. You owe the company lots of money for all the training and everything. So you're in debt before you even begin with these companies, right? These entertainment companies. So a lot of people have to just spend the years, pay the companies up so they can buy their own freedom, essentially. It is modern day slavery. So that's a prime example of that, right? If you don't know about that, you can look at that online. But what I'm getting at here is, you know, you have to be careful of contracts like that, especially, like I said, anything involving legal. Read every term before you sign it, because it may bite you in the foot, you know. I'm just saying, because yeah, a lot of these companies do not care about your well-being. They just want to make a quick buck off you, okay? So be aware of that. Make sure you know exactly what it is that you're bargaining for before you sign anything. Okay, so that's my advice to you, Scorpio. I really hope this helps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you found any of this relevant to your situation. If you found it interesting or helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button. And yeah, just make sure you're well informed before you make any decisions. Ultimately, you know what it is that you want, you know where your principles lie, you know what matters to you most. So go with your heart, go with what feels right to you, trust your intuition, and don't let anyone pressure you into something that you feel isn't the right path for you. Okay, so sending you lots of love, lots of support, and I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.